sat at one of these tables, and I spoke to her, and I'll tell you about that. Gary Schultz and Norio Hayakawa put on the conference. I was out here with two friends from a band from church that I was at. I was researching the whole UFO phenomenon specifically, which would then become the book Nephilim, which became a Nephilim trilogy. That's how it all started. So I'm out here, for me, it's research. It's hardcore research. Now, in 1994, X-Files was going. But in 1990... What's your name, rank, and serial number? So the bottom line is, where was I? Okay, so in 1990, when Gary and Norio are out here, no one knows about Area 51. We all joke about it now. You know, the extraterrestrial highway, Area 51, the X-Files. I mean, it's enculturated. It's part of our culture. But in 1990, nobody knew about any of this stuff. Nobody. I mean, a very small group of people. Well, Gary Schultz was into the whole UFO phenomenon. And so Gary would come out here with Norio. In fact, some of the stuff that Gary and Norio did, in my opinion, wound up on episodes of the X-Files. Wow. That's how cutting edge that these guys were. They backed out of it completely. Well, Norio's sort of in it, but Gary's, as far as I know, anybody else in there? Oh, you people. I never worked so cheap. So anyway, so Gary's completely out of it, and he got out of it because of the attacks, supernatural attacks, the stuff that goes on when you delve into this stuff. So it's 1994, we're out here, and one of the things that Gary did, and I want to show you this, don't come running up here now, but when I'm done yakking, this picture right here, and this picture right here, I have it hanging on my wall. This is from Gary Schultz. Gary Schultz took this in 1990, he called it a human pilot alien craft. And the reason what would happen, and they learned, that they went to school. Now the federal government, Lynn is going to be lecturing us momentarily. So Gary and Norio learned, and this sounds really bizarre, but they would come out and they realized that the stuff that they started seeing was on Wednesday nights. Wednesday nights, usually around 2, 3, 4 in the morning, stuff would come up over the mountain. Now you can't go to the place that they went to. All that's been bought is now federal land. I think that guy with the straw hat, I think he's a hybrid. I'm going to just go up and ask him. Are you a hybrid? He's gone. That's why he walked out. He's gone. So Gary's, so Gary and Norio are out there, and you would go to the mailbox road, you would go down this road to this place that he called Pearl's Peak after his wife. And that's where he took this photograph right there, and it's slightly blown up, but it's a human pilot alien craft. And the reason for this is, this gets into the whole Bob Lazar stuff, who was at the bar and I got to speak to. And Lazar has never changed his story. Where's this picture? I know it's up there somewhere. Yeah, there it is. Bob Lazar never changed his story. He's gone dark now because of all the ridicule. All the people telling it really didn't happen. This guy's a plant. So he's just said, I'm done. And he won't do interviews anymore. He's completely fake from the scene. We tried to interview him for one of our Watchers series, and he just, he wouldn't come on the record. Even when we tried to get a hold of George Knapp, would not come on the record. Lazar told me that out in Area 51, there was these hangars that were built into the side of the mountain. There's no way you could tell what was in them. And he looked at what was known as the sport model, and he saw this thing hovering, just noiseless, completely no sound at all, hovering. Now the guy's never changed the story. He talks about this strange element I think 115, which doesn't exist here. And so this guy was never changed his story, and he was inside Area 51, and he was doing back engineering on the craft. And the reason why he went public is because he thought that people have a right to know. Just like Paul Hellyer, remember the clip I showed you last night? Paul Hellyer stands up and goes, people in the world have a right to know, and we do have a right to know. If there's something going on, why are they hiding it from us? Paul Hellyer stated UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying overhead. And most of these pictures, except for some of the ones in Switzerland, which are kind of, in my opinion, are the real deal. Are on this wall, they're the real deal. Something is going on. So Gary Schultz is out there with Nori Hayakawa, and they're filming all this. They bring a Japanese film crew in to film it. The Japanese film crew, you can go probably on YouTube and see it. Area 51 Japanese film crew. They film the craft going like this. It disappears, and like a half a second later, it's over here. It jumps through space. You can't do that. It's beyond our physics. So something's going on out there, and again, the federal government has bought the land where the mailbox at Pearl's Peak, all that stuff. So you can't even get to the places that you could in 1990. They've shut everything down. Lazar swears, Lazar swears that these were not, human craft. That these were not anything. These were back engineered. That there was a quid pro quo. Now get this. And Lazar didn't know anything about the Book of Enoch. He has no Christian roots, to the best of my knowledge. In the Book of Enoch, which is really interesting, it states that when the fallen angels come down, right, there's a quid pro quo. They give mankind something for access to the population. What does that sound like, right? And they give us primitive weapon making. That's what they do. To the women they show the first abortion. You can read the Book of Enoch. How to kill the embryo in the womb, that's what it says. They show the women how to paint their eyelids, which most of the women do today. I'm not saying that's wrong or right. I'm just telling you where the source of it is. They taught men how to create weapons. I mean, what's our favorite pastime on this planet? Killing each other, war. That's what we do. That's why when Messiah returns, right, there's no more war. Yes, for at least for 1,000 years. I can't wait. I mean, why is it that Afghanistan's been rolling on 15 years, and I could go on down that rabbit trail, so I will. But the bottom line is, something is going on. Something is going on. Gary believes, as I do, that this quid pro quo that was given way back in the Book of Enoch happened in modernity. When they made contact with us, we gave them access to the population. They gave us the toys. That's what Lazar believes. That's what I believe. Gary Schultz believes the same thing. Many of us believe that there was a quid pro quo. Can we prove it? Of course not. Just like the 605,000 emails on Hillary's server, and Conway just comes up and says, "No problem, we're not going to indict. She's totally innocent." It's amazing. Just we live in a banana republic. Carl and I were talking about it. This is now a banana republic. There are two sets of laws in the country, and this is the end of the country if she gets in. It is. It'll be the most corrupt thing that we've ever seen. So getting back onto the UFO phenomenon, I truly believe that disclosure is imminent, but I thought that for 20 years. And I think, and I hold to the David Flynn's position that, hold to David Flynn's position that there's going to be something cataclysmic happen, more than likely in the Middle East. We will see an explosion, a nuclear explosion. Think about that. You go back 25 years ago, the world wasn't wired together the way it is now. It's totally wired together because of the internet. For instance, when the Fukushima tsunami happened, we watched it all in real time, didn't we? You know, we're sitting there eating popcorn and 20,000 people are dying in the tsunami. I mean, that's how crazy it is. The tsunami's coming in, the guys in the camera with the helicopters watching the tsunami, bouncing it off the satellite, the whole world's watching it live. Now they haven't lit the grid up, but they lit the grid up for Fukushima. They lit the grid up for Fukushima. Think about that. What I mean by that is all news everywhere, all on the internet, the whole thing, boom, focused on Fukushima. They could light the grid up, what's going on in Aleppo, what's going on in Mosul. They don't do it. Instead, they keep everybody dumbed down and stupid so we don't see the atrocities, because war is hell, that's going on there. I guarantee you, if there's a nuke on this planet that goes off anywhere, if there's a nuke, they will have eyes in the sky. It will be beamed out all over the place. They will light the grid up. The internet, every type of news media, that's all they'll talk about. It'll be not 24 or 12-hour news cycle. It'll be for days. And I think that's what triggers the whole UFO phenomenon. That's when they show up. And again, just to reiterate, when they show up, they will tell us that they were our creators, our progenitors. They created all life on this planet. They seeded us here millions of years ago. They started the world's religion, started the world's civilizations. Now at this critical juncture in human history, they are back to usher mankind into a golden age. That's where it's going. That's what I have come to call the coming great deception and the Luciferian conspiracy. And that's what it is. That's where we are. Everything is rushing towards that. I'll close with this. John Podesta, I wrote about it in my blog, Sunday Go to Meet and Bun. The spirit cooking and the spin for the media is, oh, he's really not a Satanist. He has nothing to do with that. He's just going to see some performance art. What?
Yeah, right.
Nice try, pal. What are you smoking? I don't know who Podesta's heart. I have no idea. Why would anyone in this room go to anything remotely like that? We wouldn't. Podesta is making a trip to there. So all I can tell, all of us, is that these are tenuous, tumultuous, unprecedented times. Unlike anything I've ever seen. Nothing would surprise me. So we're told in Scripture, Satan comes with all signs of lying wonders. And this is a lying wonder. And it's a lying wonder to deceive. It's always about deception. Deception in the desert, right? Here we are. Deception in the desert. If they know, and I believe that they know, look at the photographs when I'm done, check out Gary Schultz's. I should call him, but it's been a while. But check it out for yourself. Because when it hits, the thing is, you guys know, because you've been to the conference and you've heard all the speakers, you know what's coming. You will not be deceived. You won't be. You won't believe the lie. That's if the church is still here. You won't drink the Kool-Aid, no matter what they say. You won't drink it. You know the truth. But even the elect would be deceived if that were possible. Something is coming which is unprecedented. Unprecedented. And it will change everyone's paradigm like that unless you know a priori beforehand what it is you're looking at. This is part of the deception. This is part of the deception. It's coming. It's coming. Thanks for listening. Thank you very much.